Three presidents, Biden, Obama, and Clinton, attending a celebrity field fundraiser in Manhattan while President Trump visits Long Island to attend the wake of a slain NYPD officer, Jonathan Diller.
And Brian had the chance to talk with President Trump after the wake in his hometown of Massapequa.
Mr. President, this is what we got up to today with the New York Post. Prime of his life, this officer taken out. You placed the call earlier this week. Why was it important for you to talk to Stephanie?
Stephanie's incredible, and they wanted me to be there, and I wanted to be there, and I came in from Florida, and what a family, the Diller family, and they lost a hero, really. I mean, just a hero. They're devastated. The family is devastated. The police force is devastated. The whole country feels this way, and it's happening more and more, and it's really a lack of respect for law and order, and we have to have law and order back in our country, and we're going to, because this can't happen. This was a brutal murder.
Not only is he a police officer in the prime of his life cut down, this guy had 70 collars in 3 years. He loved doing the job, and this is a blue blood family.
It's true. Blue blood and top of his class, and everything perfect, a beautiful record of doing his job properly and fairly. And this is what happens. It's just so horrible. Jonathan was, you know, they say, walking the top. He was the top in every respect, top of his class. And this happened to somebody that should not have happened.
So in that town, my town, there'll be about 100,000 police officers. They're coming from Texas. They're coming from all around. What are your thoughts when you see men and women in blue show up for someone's funeral they never met?
So when I was leaving, we paid our respects to the family, most magnificent, beautiful wife, the grandmother and the mother and everybody. Everybody is there but Jonathan. And what a scene. But when I was leaving, we're driving down the road, and it felt like we were driving for miles, and there were men and women in blue. They were going for such a period. I said, that's a lot of people.
It's moving.
That was a long blue line.
Right.
That was a long blue line indeed, and that's respect. They have respect for this family. They have respect for what Jonathan meant, and to me, they're the most brave people. Look, it's getting worse and worse for police because we're not taking care of them. We're not allowing them to do their job properly. If you think about it, the man is arrested 21 times. He's a killer. His nickname, I guess, is Killer, or the other one is Killer. And when you think about it, this shouldn't be where you go up to a car and they shoot you and murder you. This shouldn't be happening in this country, and it shouldn't be happening anywhere. We're going to stop it. It's got to stop. We have to have law and order. And when you have people repeat, this isn't a repeat offender. This is ridiculous.
I was watching the monitor, and the split screen was President Biden, President Obama, and President Clinton going to a fundraiser at Radio City. You know the logistics. Would it be possible for President Biden to have got to Massapequa and visited the family?
I'd say within a half an hour, depending on the mode of travel. So, you know, they have some pretty fast travel.
What does it tell you?
I think that politically he can't support the police. I think he's also making a mistake. But I think politically his base won't let him support the police. And I support the police, I would say, at the highest level of any president by far, maybe double or triple. And they knew that. That's why when I walked into that funeral parlor, it was like love. It was just, they want to shy away from it. They didn't even call the family. They could have called. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know. Even a call would be perhaps, I'm not sure they'd take his call.
Right.
I'm really not sure they'd take his call.
2 police commissioners greeted you.
That's true.
And I thought Commissioner Caban said, thank you for coming.
He did.
And Commissioner Ryder right there. That's important for you.
Well, it's important for the country. I think it was almost affection in both cases because, you know, they're there and they're very devastated by that. And the one from New York City came out, and I've known him a little bit, and I think he's doing the best he can. But, you know, the restrictions that are put on the police are so incredible. They're protecting the criminal. They're not protecting the police. The criminal has far more protection than a police officer.
What is the message to the presidents at Radio City right now? Before you leave New York and go back to Florida, what did they miss today?
Well, they missed a very sad moment for our country, but it's a moment that they have to be a part of, whether they like it or not. They can't skip this moment. I've never seen so many police. I've never seen so many firemen, a lot of firemen. They view it, you know, in a very similar way, and I understand that. But they're going to have to get involved a little bit because this country is going to hell. Our country is not respected anymore. We're really, I say it in my rallies and my speeches, we're a nation in decline. We are a nation in decline. But fixable. But totally fixable, but we have to do it fast. Tell you what, the most important day in the history of our country is going to be November 5th. That's Election Day. It's going to be November 5th. That is the most important period of time. It's the most important day in the history of our country. Our country's going bad, and it's going to be changed on November 5th. And if it's not changed, we're not going to have a country anymore.
Brian, looks like the president was really balanced, a somber tone.
I mean, he had chances, wide open political chances.
Yeah.
He didn't take them. I asked him, too, do you feel it's just 3 presidents against 1? Because Joe Biden's no longer going to be doing national press, they say. He's going to be doing podcast and local radio. And Barack Obama calling the chief of staff every day. And he said he expects it. You know, he expects 3 or 1. It's not going to matter. That's what he believes.
You know, I don't pretend to be some expert political strategist, but, you know, I've heard the argument that it was so important for the Biden administration to raise all that money last night to be with former presidents. I just have to think this kind of thing breaks through. And I don't even know that it matters politically, but just trying to understand where the minds of the people of America are. I think you're right about his tone. Yeah. I think you're right about his choices. I think it's a stark contrast versus the sitting president.
Really interesting interview, and the timing is obviously very interesting as we get closer and closer to this election. I wrote down a few things. One, he leaves behind that fallen cop a 1-year-old son. That little boy, Ryan, will never see his father again, and his wife, Stephanie. The president said in that interview to you, I hope something comes from this. Something should come from this as the country does watch this happen. He also pointed out in that interview, a lot of police officers feel like they're doing more paperwork than they are taking bad guys off the street. That's definitely going to resonate with a lot of the blue out there. And this was a cop family, by the way. The fallen officer's brother-in-law is a cop. His cousin's a cop. This sends a very strong message that when the worst happens, that we grieve with you and we support those in the uniform.
Hey, Brian, sure. We were talking a little bit off camera. 20 minutes. And you had many other conversations with the president, including talking about RFK. And
we talked about RFK, the impact. We talked about what do you feel about the Mexican president threatening us unless you change your policy with Venezuela and Cuba. We're going to let people come through again. He had an interesting answer to that, along with the threat we got from Guatemala's president. He'd have a different take on that, the Truth Social boom, as well as where we're at with this election and more. That'll be there'll be more on this on One Nation. It'll be tomorrow night, Saturday, beginning at 9 o'clock.
All right.
Great interview.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.